This morning, the subcommittee will review the legality and efficacy of expedited rescission proposals, which are more commonly referred to as line-item veto proposals. Every year since I was first elected to the United States Senate, I've held listening sessions in each of Wisconsin's 72 counties, and I've held over 1,200 of them so far, and I've heard from tens of thousands of people across the state. And while over those many years health care reform has been the top issue discussed at these listening sessions, the need to rein in wasteful spending, and especially wasteful earmark spending, has been raised consistently. And it's never obviously been a more urgent issue. That's why it's especially encouraging to have the President come forward just 2 days ago with his own proposal for an expedited rescission or line-item veto measure. When he took office, President Obama was handed perhaps the worst economic and fiscal mess facing any administration since Franklin Roosevelt took office in 1933. The legacy President Obama inherited poses a gigantic challenge. And there's no magic bullet that will solve all our budget problems. Congress has to make some tough decisions, and there will be no avoiding them if we're to get our fiscal house in order. But we can take some steps that will help Congress make the right decisions and that can sustain the progress we make. A line-item veto, properly structured and respectful of the constitutionally central role Congress plays, can help us get back on track, and that is what we will explore in today's hearing. Now, I've advocated for giving the President expedited rescission or line-item veto authority for a long time. Over the past two Congresses, I've been pleased to join with my colleague from Wisconsin, Congressman Paul Ryan, the ranking member of the House Budget Committee, in offering a proposal that specifically targets earmark spending. He and I have worked on this issue for several years. While we belong to different political parties and differ on many issues, we do share at least two things in common: our hometown of Janesville, Wisconsin, and an abiding respect for Wisconsin's tradition of fiscal responsibility. Now, among the many members who have joined us in that particular effort is the ranking member of this subcommittee, the senator from Oklahoma, Dr. Tom Coburn. I'm delighted to have Senator Coburn as a co-sponsor of our bill. There is no more energetic foe of wasteful earmark spending, and I've been pleased to work with him on a number of different efforts to rein in that practice. And at this time, I'd ask that Senator Coburn's statement be placed in the record without objection. There have been a number of line-item veto proposals offered in the past several years, but the measure we proposed is unique in that it specifically targets the very items that every line-item veto proponent cites when promoting a particular measure, namely earmarks. When President Bush asked for this kind of authority, the examples he gave when citing wasteful spending he wanted to target were congressional earmarks. When members of the House or Senate tout a new line-item veto authority to go on after government waste, the examples they typically give are congressional earmarks. When editorial pages argue for a new line-item veto, they too cite congressional earmarks as the reason for granting the President this new authority. And while we've made some progress on earmarks, they continue to be a serious problem. By one estimate, in 2004 alone, more than $50 billion in earmarks were passed. Just last year, the Omnibus Appropriations Bill for fiscal year 2009, which passed in March of 2009, contained more than 8,000 earmarks, costing $7 billion. And the Consolidated Appropriations Bill for fiscal year 2010, which passed in December, included nearly 5,000 earmarks, costing $3.7 billion. There is no excuse for a system that allows that kind of wasteful spending year after year. And while I've opposed granting the President a line-item veto authority to effectively reshape programs like Medicare and Medicaid, for this specific category, I support giving the President this additional tool. Under the bill Congressman Ryan and I proposed, wasteful spending would have nowhere to hide. It will be out in the open so that both Congress and the President have a chance to get rid of wasteful projects before they begin.